Good evening. March 11th, 2025 board meeting is now in order. I would like to welcome my fellow board members and the public. I would like to take this opportunity to remind the public that the appropriate place for public participation in the meeting is during your individual public comment opportunity as identified on the agenda. Outside of your individual public comment opportunity, your role in this meeting is as an observer. Roll call, please, Paul.
Mr. Trent?
Here.
Mr. Susan?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Campbell?
Here.
Ms. Wright?
Here.
At this time, the board would like to hold a moment of silence. I invite you to join the audience. Thank you. I would like to invite Ariana Alex to the podium, and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, tonight we have a big treat. We have Edgewood Junior Senior Dance Team. Come on up.
I like the pink ladies.
This is the word. Hey, I want to hear about what them did at the beach. I'm loving, have me in dive. Some days we get away to the summer night. No longer am I alone. Without a dream in my mind, I found a love of my own. You're looking good, Riz. Eat your heart out. Why, it could be grease lightning. Systematic, hydromatic, ultramatic. It could be grease lightning.
Good job, you guys.
All right. So I believe we're going to have Ms. Veronica and Kimber answer some of our questions. Board, who would like to start?
I'll go first. I think it's kind of cruel to ask questions right after you guys get done doing that because it's going to be a little hard to talk right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So let me ask, how long have you been practicing together as a team?
Well, most of us this year are actually seniors. All of
Okay.
us that are here right now, except for one.
Okay.
So
Oh.
we've all been practicing together for At least 2 years, and most of us have been together for the last 4.
That's amazing. So what's the plan once you leave? I mean, you're going to graduate, so are you going to continue on with dance when you leave the school?
Not me personally.
No.
I think that, like, my time on dance team will probably be over, but I've had a really great time. over the last
Awesome.
4
Well,
years.
thank you so much for coming and performing, and what great energy. I loved the music. I loved the dance. I loved the outfits. You guys did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, first of all, you guys were awesome. Your timing was phenomenal, and obviously because you've danced so long together, that's probably why. You guys are really, really good. My daughter was a dancer, so I can appreciate how good you guys were. I'm just curious, you guys have been doing it for a long time. How do you think this program or your dance program has helped you as a person or as a student?
I know it's given me some of my closest friends, and I'm like eternally grateful for this program that we've had. And I'm really glad that, like, especially since a lot of us, it is our last year, that we've really gotten to like enrich like all of our experiences this year. So it's been a really great experience.
Do you guys dance together on any other teams?
No.
That's pretty impressive.
Some of us go to the same studio though.
Very good.
Awesome job, ladies. Lots of energy. So talk to me about competitions. How does that work, and what kind of things have you guys done this year?
We actually just had a competition this last weekend at Seminole High School in Orlando. So that was really great. We did a really great job. We actually did the best we've done so far this year at that competition in all of our dances. So that's really great. And then we've had 2 or just 1? We've had 2 other competitions this year so far. And then we did really great at those as well. And then we're coming up on nationals here in a couple months. So we're really training hard for that to make sure we're ready.
That's exciting. And is this the full team?
This is our varsity team, but we're
Varsity.
missing 1 member.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So how many total people are on the teams, do you think? Or maybe that's a
About-
question for Coach.
I think about 20.
About 20. 9 on each.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best of luck when you go to nationals.
Thank you.
Mr. Souza.
So, one of you alluded to a place that you guys go dance besides your competition. Where is that?
It's just a studio in Merritt Island. It's called Dusage Dance Studio. I know I go there, and then another girl on the team goes there.
And you guys compete in another area when you go there, or is that just a way for
That's
you guys
just
to improve your skills?
recreational.
Okay, because there was a dance team out of Melbourne that I ran into that has a whole studio down there, and they go like international, and they go all over the world and compete. So I didn't know if that was the same one. So
It's not the same one,
It's
but we
not.
know them too.
Okay.
They're amazing.
what schools did you guys beat when you guys were over there in the Seminole competition? I want to call some other school board members.
we were against Colonial High School.
Did you beat those guys?
That's that's for us to know, but yeah. And then we were also against Mel High at that one as well,
Did you guys get them too? Did you guys beat them?
for sure.
Look at that! All right. You guys are such nice people. They don't keep track at all, do they? No, I really appreciate you guys. Anytime you guys are in those competitions, now you're going to national, I heard.
Yes.
Where is that at?
That is in Orlando.
Oh, it is? At,
it's
like,
the-
Disney or something?
It's at the Hilton.
How many other schools from Brevard have teams that'll be there? Maybe Melbourne if they qualify because they're not as good as you guys?
I'm actually not sure if any from Bavard are going to be there, but
There's usually a lot of out of state there, like
Yeah.
at the nationals.
Well, we'll have to have you guys come back if you place or do something really cool over there.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
actually bring like the trophy that you guys win.
Yeah.
And if it's not big, let me know. We'll produce a bigger one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, no, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
thank you for having us.
I appreciate all the parents who came here tonight. You guys are awesome. You have some beautiful daughters. I have 4 daughters, so I'm like one of the, what do they call it, a girl dad or
Girl
whatever
dad.
it is. And I understand all of the great things that they bring in your life, and I appreciate you guys being here tonight, so thank you. And thank you for being a big part of our BPS. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just surprised Miss Ingrata wasn't up there dancing with you guys.
All right.
All right.
Again, you guys were awesome. If you hadn't said that you were all seniors and had danced together, we would have assumed it. You guys were, the timing was impeccable. It was very nice. It's when we do things like this at the beginning of our board meetings, it's really nice to see the extra activities that our students have. I mean, you need something other than your studies, and especially, seniors, you've got plenty to do at school, but it's nice to have these outside activities, right? I mean, it's really good. You talked about meeting some of your friends. Those are the relationships that you're going to keep forever. So just another example of BPS students excelling outside the classroom, and another way we could just show the talent that we have here in Brevard, and you guys make our job so much easier. Parents, thank you so much for encouraging the activities, to take a break in the studies. I know this time of year it's very, very stressful for seniors, so great job there. Principal Ingrata, thank you so much for all the support you give these young ladies. And then Coach, it couldn't be possible without you, so thank you so much. And ladies, again, thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Dr.
All right,
Rendell.
so Mr. Chair, I just want to make an announcement. Everybody in here got to see this performance live, and normally we broadcast live, but we've been having a little bit of trouble with our cable connection, so it was recorded. So if any of your friends were trying to watch, it's still an old board meeting being broadcast right now. So don't worry, once we're done with the show today, we'll broadcast it live. So we'll make sure you know when it's airing so you guys can get on there and watch it. But if anybody was texting somebody, wait, they're not on. Yeah, because apparently we've had a disconnect with our cable outlet. So we recorded it though. It was awesome. And we'll broadcast it so you can see it. And of course, I thought there were a few fans recording it anyway. But yeah, you're not live, but you will be broadcast eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And good luck.
Get you a picture or you're good? Picture?
Yes. If you wouldn't mind, we'd like to take a picture with the whole team.
I noticed you didn't offer to dance, Mr. Susan. Usually you like, what time?
Next, I would like to invite Apollo Elementary Principal Amy Delago to the podium and to recognize her staff members for their heroic actions on February 12th, 2025. We're referencing the bus fire on I-95.
Good evening. I'm actually going to have my staff come up here with me. I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come out here this evening to recognize our outstanding staff members at Apollo. On Wednesday, February 12th, returning from a field trip, the fifth grade students at our school experienced an emergency on a chartered bus that resulted in a fire. Thanks to the heroic actions of our dedicated staff, Ms. Marshall, Ms. Powers, Ms. Harper, and Ms. Myers, who are here tonight, and Mr. S. and Ms. Thompson, who could not join us. The situation was swiftly handled, ensuring that our student safety was our #1 priority. Their level-headedness and commitment to student safety turned what this could have been a disaster into a very successful story. I want to thank my staff members from the bottom of my heart for bringing home all of our students safely. If you didn't see it on any of the social media sites, When they first called me and said, oh, there's a fire, well, then I'm on the phone with Miss Marshall, and she's very calmly speaking to me. And suddenly someone comes into my office because it was actually being broadcasted on social media live. And I realized it wasn't a fire. The bus was engulfed in flames, the entire bus. So for their action of getting them off of the bus on the side of 95 was absolutely heroic. And that later that night, I actually on my way home, I thought if it was just a few more seconds, this would have been a completely different story. But then I remembered my staff members and how much they take priority of our students, and that's why they came home safely. So again, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
You say something?
you. Yeah, please do.
I'd just like to say, you know, because of your quick thinking and decisive action, you saved a lot of lives. And that's first and foremost. Secondly, I'm glad that you pointed out it was a charter bus.
So. So quickly. I called Central Bus, and within no time, they had a bus there, meeting them on the side of the road. So we worked on the schools, to get a bus out there and get the kids off the road. So.
You guys are awesome.
Microphone, please.
Yes. So you mentioned it, but the part of this story when I first heard it that scared me the most was, oh my gosh, that means they're standing on the side of the interstate. So my mom heart jumped straight to the dangers it could be, but you guys just did an amazing job, and I don't know how you did it, because, I mean, at least those fifth graders and not like first or second graders, but still, fifth graders can be squirrely. So thank you so much for what you did. All of us are parents and have that, probably had the same, little stress level that rises just thinking about what would it be like if our kids were there. But I have to tell you, what I saw on social media was parent after parent saying, my kid was on that bus and everybody did such a great job. Is so much positive feedback on a story where usually people get on and are so nasty and negative, but all the people who were a part of it and the parents were like, the staff, they couldn't have handled it better. And so kudos to all of you. We are so appreciative for the work that you do every day, but especially that day.
Yeah, honestly, this is a testimony to being at the right place at the right time, and you guys honestly were where you needed to be, and thank God the results turned out the way that they did, because if you weren't there, it could have looked very, very different. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I have to ask the question, when the bus caught on fire, were one of you, who noticed that first, and how did that happen? So
I smelled the smoke and asked the bus driver to stop.
Okay.
She stopped the bus and got off. I kind of already knew we were on fire. I
Okay.
waited for her to tell us, so then we were able to get off quickly after that.
Well, thank you so, so much for honestly stepping in the gap there and really doing something that's tremendous and saving those children's lives and your lives as well. So there's no greater gift than being willing to sacrifice that. So thank you, thank
We
you,
really
thank
have
you.
to say that it was the kids that really, they listened, they got off the bus
Good.
quickly, and the training that we've given them throughout their years of, school at Apollo.
Good.
They were able to listen and get off quickly.
Did you have any children that were upset or
course.
obviously emotions are peaking, so you're having to tend to that as well. So you
We had a medical team there quickly, the police, everybody was there, volunteers helping out. We were pointing, you take that child, that one needs an extra hug.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Those words don't seem big enough for a situation like this, but we really, truly do appreciate you all.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. When my wife and I saw the story, I was sitting down and I was talking to her, and I said, that's amazing. Those teachers, they were able to get all those kids off the bus. If I was there, she said, no, listen to me. She goes, our children barely listen to you, Matt. So they would be the last thing you'd be able to do is move all those kids off that bus. And I agree, because I taught high school, right? And that's easy for you just to yell at them, get them off the bus. But those little kids need a lot more. They need the reassurance. They need that. And following that light off that bus is you guys. And that was huge, because if it hadn't happened that way and one kid would have froze and gotten, wanted to go back, we would have been looking at numbers that weren't so good. So I just want to take from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for being there, and I appreciate you.
So, again, you've heard it from all of us here, but what better group of people would you want in that situation than elementary school teachers? right? You put out fires for a living every single day. So if I were to pick any profession to be on that bus with my children or any of our children, it would be you. So thank you for being there. Thank you for choosing the career path that you did. You're in the right place, and we're proud to have you. So thank you so much. Dr. Rendell.
So I just, I talked to a few of them before the meeting started today, and I just, how did you remain so calm and, do what you did? And they said, well, that's what we do. We're just teachers. We take care of kids. So I really think since they have the microphone, it would be a really good idea for each of them to say their name and what role they have, like second grade teacher or whatever, because we didn't mention their names yet, and I feel like they need to be called out, and anybody who isn't here, Amy, if you can make sure they get recognized.
Jessica Meyer, instructional assistant.
I'm Laura Powers. I'm a 5th grade teacher. I'm Kathy Marshall, and I'm a 5th grade teacher.
I'm San Harper, and I'm a 5th grade teacher.
Amy DeLaga, very proud principal. 2 of our teachers are not here. An instructional assistant, Ms. Thompson, Shay Thompson, and Mr. Slobonak, a 5th grade teacher, are not here this evening.
Well, thank you guys again.
Yes, thank you.
We can do a picture now, or they can wait when we do a picture.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, let's do it now. All right, now I'd like to invite Cindy Lazinski to the podium for the bookkeeper audit recognition. Yay, Cindy.
Yay, bookkeepers.
Yay, bookkeepers.
That's right.
Yes.
Good evening. Tonight we are pleased to honor and celebrate the outstanding achievements of our district schools in financial management and accountability. As you may know, every year our schools are required by state law to undergo an internal accounts audit. This audit examines how our schools handle the funds that are raised, collected, and spent for student activities such as field trips, clubs, teams, and events. These funds are vital for enriching the educational experience of our students, but they also pose a high risk of fraud, misuse, or error. That is why we need to ensure that our schools follow the best practices of internal controls and comply with state statutes and board policy. Our accounting firm, RSM, audited the financial records and procedures at each of our schools. They checked for accuracy, timeliness, completeness, authorization, documentation, and compliance in various areas such as receipts, deposits, expenditures, fundraising, sales tax, and petty cash. They also issued a final report for each school, which indicated whether they were any audit findings or not. A report of no audit findings means that the auditors did not find any errors or issues in the areas mentioned. This is actually a very remarkable achievement, and it reflects the high level of professionalism, integrity, and excellence that our school leaders and staff demonstrate every day. The research is clear. Leaders of schools who demonstrate the highest level of financial stewardship and spend money wisely have a significant impact on positive student outcomes. It is also extremely important that we provide confidence to the board and our community that our schools maintain rigorous internal controls and make every dollar count. We wish to express our sincere appreciation to the Brevard Schools Foundation for donating the framed certificates. I would also like to acknowledge district accounting staff, Ashley Smith, Jennifer Howe, and Cheryl Crawley for supporting all of our schools. And thank you for your continued hard work. And Jennifer and Cheryl are back there. So I'm pleased to announce the following schools, bookkeepers, and principals. And we've had several lists. Okay. Apollo Elementary School, being accepted by Principal Amy Delaco, and the bookkeeper is Deborah Bryant. Columbia Elementary School, Elena Owens is the bookkeeper, and Jennifer Julian is the principal. Discovery Elementary School, Ariana Viger is the bookkeeper, and Christine Rosado, I am so sorry,
She doesn't like Italian.
is the principal.
Oh, she likes Italian.
Edgewood Junior Senior High School, being accepted by the principal, Jacqueline Angrada. Enterprise Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Patty Freeman, and the principal, Kelly Dufresne. Harbor City Elementary School, bookkeeper is Lisa Marie Kelly, and the principal, Christine Boyd. Holland Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Melanie Thompson, and principal, Samantha Allison. Indian Atlantic Elementary School, being accepted by the principal, Colleen Lord. Johnson Middle School, bookkeeper is Tracy Bird, and the principal is Marina Middleton. Longleaf Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Denise McCammon, and principal Jason Sherburne. Ocean Breeze Elementary School, bookkeeper is Linda Nolan, and principal Shelley Ann Michaud. Pinewood Elementary School, bookkeeper Alicia Hickman, and principal Amber Smith. Riviera Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Lori Boyer, and principal Mary Elizabeth Myers. Rockledge High School, bookkeeper is Betsy DeLatree, and the principal is Peter Papsinski.
They're all bookkeepers.
Theodore Roosevelt Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Kathy Goff Prisgoda. Did I say that right? Piscoda. And the principal is Jennifer Clark. Sable Elementary School, bookkeeper is Genesis Butler, and principal Lauren Trossett. Saturn Elementary School, bookkeeper is Christine Brainham, and principal Corey Story. Sea Park Elementary School, Janelle Crook is the bookkeeper, and the principal is Stephanie Hall. Sunrise Elementary School, Aria Fransworth is the bookkeeper, and principal Danielle Cross. And Tropical Elementary School, Lindsay Kasor is the bookkeeper, and principal Dr. Nelefra Marshall. Okay, so Oak Park Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Susie Mitchell, and principal Kelly Ross. Okay, the schools that were not able to attend tonight are Astronaut High School. No, we're not doing it on that. Okay. So they are here. Astronaut High School, Robin Burris and Krista K. Miller is the principal. Is Hoover Middle School here? Okay. The bookkeeper is Christina Gilbert. And the principal is Palomal Ferreira. Did I say that right? And then Lockmore Elementary School, Amber Ryan is the bookkeeper, and Kathleen Campione is the principal. The additional schools that were not able to make it, Krista McLaughlin Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Jeanette Bender, and principal Victoria Finstead. Freedom 7 Elementary School, Patricia Colgan is the bookkeeper, and principal Kathleen Lott. Hans Christian Anderson Elementary School, the bookkeeper is Stacy Ginsburg, and principal Kimberly Harris. Imperial Estates Elementary School, the principal is Cynthia Adams. The bookkeeper right now is a vacant position, but they did amazing last year. They did wonderful. James Madison Middle School, the bookkeeper is Kelly DiVincenzo, and principal Travis Diesel. Jupiter Elementary School, Ashley Hannum is the bookkeeper, and Melanie Nelson is the principal. Palm Bay Elementary, again, perfect audit this last year. Bookkeeper wants to keep her record, so she must have retired. She's not there. But the principal is going to keep it going, Sarah Brimmer. Stone Magnet Middle School, bookkeeper Denise Olson, and principal Lauren Williams. Vera Elementary School, Lindsay Cunningham is the bookkeeper, Adrian Schwab is the principal, and West Melbourne Elementary School for Science is Janice Gray as the bookkeeper, and Teresa Benson is the principal. Again, thank you. Oh my gosh. I really can't, there's no words for the work that bookkeepers do. It's just an incredible, incredible job that there's so many things that you guys do, and then to do it perfectly is just absolutely amazing. Thank you.
So as a high school principal 4 times over, and the spouse of a former elementary bookkeeper, I know how hard it is to have a perfect audit, especially at the secondary level when you have all those coaches and sponsors that don't follow the rules. So congratulations to all of you, elementary and secondary bookkeepers. This is fantastic. Congratulations.
to
Just turn your TV. Turn your TV off.
All right, that brings us to the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Rendell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On this evening's agenda, we have one proclamation, 35 consent items, 13 public hearing items, 4 action items, and 2 information items. Changes that have been made to the agenda since it was released to the public include the following. Removed was F19, termination of instructional employee. Revised were B9, Bleeding Disorder Awareness Month, and C10, administrative recommendations.
Do I hear a motion?
move to approve.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
Okay, that leaves us, puts us into here that March is the Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month. I would like to welcome our own Yvette Cruz to the podium to read our proclamation for tonight.
Whereas considered rare bleeding disorders that include hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, and rare bleeding disorders are characterized by the blood not clotting normally due to the lack of clotting proteins, also known as clotting factors. And whereas in the United States, more than 20,000 individuals live with hemophilia and rare bleeding disorders, with 6,000 of them living in the state of Florida. And 1 to 2% of the American population who have von Willebrand disease, and while treatment can help, the conditions are not yet curable. And whereas symptoms of a bleeding disorder include unexplained and excessive bleeding, large or deep bruising, nosebleeds, and bleeding into joints, muscles, and soft tissues. And if someone has a bleeding disorder, they may have extended bleeding with incidences such as an injury or trauma, menstruation, surgery, or dental procedures. And whereas the Bleeding Disorders Foundation of Florida, founded in 1996, supports the bleeding disorder community throughout the state. And its mission to improve the quality of life for people with the condition and their families through education, information and referral services, advocacy, support, and research. And annually, the organization hosts 5Ks, fun walks, and other events throughout Florida to bring awareness to the community and needed funding for research and support services. Be it resolved on March 11th, 2025, that the Brevard Public School Board does hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Bleeding Disorders Awareness Month, a time to encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of these serious bleeding disorders, and thank the efforts of healthcare professionals and the Bleeding Disorders Foundation of Florida and the National Bleeding Disorders Foundation organizations for their dedication and for their commitment to improved treatments and ultimately a cure. So tonight we have the Bleeding Disorders Foundation of Florida here to accept this proclamation. So I'd like to invite them up to the podium.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here at BPS. This is our 4th year in a row continuing to make history throughout the country, not just here in Brevard. We are the only school board in the nation to actually declare Bleeding Disorder Awareness Month, which is something that should be done. You know, we'll leave that to everybody else because we've already done it. My name is Samantha Nazario, and I am the proud mother of a Melhi Bulldog. Go Bulldogs. My son Tyler was diagnosed at age 6 with von Willebrand's disease. It's how we decided to take my time of loss, which I don't really do loss. Most of you know me in here. I don't really do lost or confused very well, but I was at one point, and I had to educate myself in order to learn not only to survive with a bleeding disorder, but for him to thrive. And I always brag about my Tyler because he is a BPS product through and through. He is now 25 years old. He is on his Bachelor's of Science in Game Art. Yes, it's a real degree. At Full Sail University after achieving 2 degrees at Eastern Florida State College, all while putting aside his own journey to want to help his community. Tyler created Team Tyler, which I'm wearing today, which is now a 10-year project and has raised over $100,000, all on his own to provide to our chapter in donations. From that donations, kids get scholarships. They get sent to Camp Boggy Creek, which is a Paul Newman So Serious fun camp. If you don't know, Google. It's an amazing education. I want to take the time to tell Brevard This is something that you may not know, you may have never heard of it, but I'm gonna tell you, because when you leave here today or you watch this meeting, you're gonna say, wow, I do wanna Google that. I'm sure that everyone in this room remembers the height of the AIDS crisis. Thanks to the people that lost their lives in the bleeding disorder community due to what we call in the bleeding disorder community, the blood holocaust. We lost 20,000 patients in a matter of 5 years. The bleeding disorder community then decided to take on the blood industry for the entire world. 20,000 remaining bleeding disorder patients fought against Congress and World Health Organization to come to terms with the testing of all blood products. Anyone in here could be susceptible to needing a blood product. Surgery, motor vehicle accident, a simple bump on the head, anything can happen and you may need a blood product. Guess what? Thanks to the Ricky Ray law passed in 1998, you will not receive a tainted blood product because of someone that died from hemophilia due to AIDS-related HIV. As a mom with a son with a rare bleeding disorder, I can tell you that our medication is exorbitantly expensive. One dose is $16,000. It's the size of a syringe for a diabetes medication. It takes 16 donations of plasma to create that one life-saving medication for my son. We need 3 to 4 of those a month. The copay on that is $2,100. I advocate throughout the country. We're even going to Puerto Rico for a Latin conference. But the most important advocating I do is right here at home. It's for the employees that work for you. It's for the students. It's for the ignorance of parents sometimes that don't want to tell you at school, my kid has a bleeding disorder. Guess what? You better tell those teachers that kid has a bleeding disorder because you're putting that kid's life in jeopardy every day. You may have an employee that doesn't want someone at the job to know, but maybe seeing this today, they'll have a courage to let their coworker know, you know what, when I'm having a cycle, I have a little bit harder than you. Thank you for your understanding. So what I do a lot in the community, but this is my baby. This is my pet project. It's been my passion for the last 19 years and it's led to so many other avenues I would have never expected. I do want to take this time to wholeheartedly thank the board because thanks to the efforts of so many of you up there, we've done a lot in this community. With the partnership of Matt and the school board, we were able to host the first ever multicultural festival in downtown Melbourne. And it cost me $6,000 to close the street, but it was worth every penny just to be able to have something in the town where I live. I live in Melbourne. I don't want to have to go to Palm Bay for cultural stuff. Don't get mad at me, Rob. But, I live in Melbourne, and it was nice to bring that to the community, and I look forward to doing that again. And I thank you guys again for this amazing partnership. And the tears that came to my eyes the day that Mr. Susan sent me that awning outside saying Bleeding Disorder Awareness Month. That means so much to us for an illness that's so far from a cure. So thank you so much for everything you guys do every day. Thank you.
Hey, you get a picture with her?
We got to
Yeah, 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 vote.
Let's vote first.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Let's
I'm
vote
sorry.
first.
I'm sorry.
Yes, we do. Do I
forgot
hear a
about
motion?
that. Move to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Paul, roll call.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye. All right, now let's take that photo.
All right,
Since it passed.
yeah. Very good. All right. Which leads us to, am I correct that we have no administrative staff recommendations?
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So that leads us to our public comment portion of the meeting.
Mr. Chair,
First.
I have a motion.
Mr. Bryan, you are the only individual signed up for a non-agenda public comment, but your comment is about the public comment policy, correct? That's a public hearing. You don't have to sign up for non-agenda. Is that your only non-agenda comment? All right, yeah, that's a separate issue, but you don't have any non-agenda outside of the public, all right, we don't have any non-agenda comment speakers then, so we don't need a
Okay, so we don't
motion.
need the motion?
Okay. So now we're at the public comment portion of the meeting. We have, how many, Paul?
One.
We have one speaker, and you'll receive 3 minutes. Our attorney will call that speaker up.
Bernard Bryan.
Mr. Gibbs? Right, just
Nice try.
if we can ask you, just turn off the lights when you're done. We'll,
Thank you, Board. Thank you, Mr. Trent, and the entire Board. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm a member of 4 SAC teams. I mentor a lot of children, and I love Brevard Public Schools. So, to be able to stand before you, I believe this is a calling of mine. And I believe God has called me in this role right now. And so out of the last 4 years, I think I've only missed one public meeting. So I just want to tell you that I really love Brevard Public School children, and my wife always encouraged me behind the scene as well. I want to talk basically on a workshop that I saw online in regards to closing ALC schools. I just have a couple of questions around that. I know you just had that workshop. One of the things that the NAACP, as well as the concerned citizen, is concerned about is when these students are moved back to their zone schools, we are concerned about the resource that will be available to support those students. One of the things that we're concerned about is that will there be enough social workers? Will there be enough counselors to support these schools that have a very tight bandwidth right now? So when that extra load is added to them, I'm just hoping that this board will consider adding the resources that are needed. They're going to need, because if that is not addressed, I believe with the marginalized population, around 40% of the LC students are from marginalized communities. So I'm concerned about whether that's going to increase the dropout rate if they don't have enough social support, they don't have enough counselors to support them through that. I haven't mastered the presentation, but this is just a big concern of mine, as well as these people that I represent. So we're very concerned about that, because if the support is not there, the ability to go that route in terms of dropout will be escalated. And I don't have that dropout data in front of me. So that's one of the items I wanted to, that I want to share with you today. I'm also concerned, I've read your policy on public comments, and one of the things I'm concerned about when I look
Mr. Bryan.
at, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the public comment policy, the public hearing later in the meeting,
Okay.
we'll recall you for that part. So
Okay,
you
all
can
right.
just talk about the ALCs for now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And that's it, right?
Good job, Gibbs. Good job.
Good job, yeah. That concludes our agenda items, public comments. Thank you for taking the time out to schedule, to address the board with your concerns and suggestions. I would like to remind the public that the board is accessible for future conversations outside of our business meetings through scheduling a meeting. Okay. We are now at the consent agenda portion of our meeting. Dr. Rendell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are 35 items on the list under this category.
Does any board member wish to pull any of these items? I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent items on tonight's agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
All right. Takes us to the public hearing portion. We'll now hold a final public hearing for the following policies. G48-PO 0169.1. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item?
Thank you for that exercise. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'd like to talk about your public comment policy. I've had a chance to read most of it. When I think about public comments, I'm thinking about Brevard Public. When you think about public, all right, not this four-wall public. We represent a lot of people, a lot of different organizations, and what I'm thinking is, since you have made that change where non-agenda item is spoken at the end and off camera, what I've noticed, what I think will happen, you may lose a lot of valuable input. And I know it may not be aligned with what you want, but you have a lot of people that deals with a lot of communities that represent Brevard Public Schools, and I believe you're going to lose that type of input. I also think you may lose the participation rate. If you look here now, you don't see a lot of participation. I'm also concerned about you may lose community partners if they are able to stand and represent their public, not this four-wall public, but the community Brevard public arena. I believe you're going to lose a lot of partnership in that area as well. I mean, if this is what you want in terms of public participation, and I know sometimes these public comments are painful, but leadership is not easy. Sometimes you got to hear things that you may not want to hear. I've been a manager for like 25 years of my life, and there were a lot of things I didn't want to hear, but I had to hear because I'm a leader. So I just want you to reconsider that. I'd like to add a proposal, though. If you decide to stick with your policy, maybe you want to consider adding to your agenda an opportunity for the floor to add in what they want to talk about that's not on the agenda. And obviously, you can approve that from this dais. But I'm just concerned because you have a lot of people who are passionate about Brevard Public Schools that may not have the time to call each and every one of you to try to set up what they're concerned about. This may be the only opportunity. So I just wanted to express that. Mr. Bryant loved Brevard Public School. He loved to work with the different schools and be a part of the plan. But I see a shifting here. And so just consider that because, I would like to see you standing in front of a crowd, getting the input that would add value to our students and to our school system. So that's what I wanted to share with you. If you will consider that, maybe tweak it a little bit. But I just like to see our voice being heard, not in these four walls, but across Brevard Public. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else present who wishes to address this item? All right, do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Roll call.
Yep, but don't go so fast. First of all, board, I went back because someone asked a question and then went back to listen to the workshop where we talked a long talk. And I had to apologize because I realized, man, I talked a long time that day. In particular, I know I do it frequently. But I did want to address a couple of things that not just Mr. Bryan mentioned, but some other people who have emailed, and I've gotten very little feedback.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, we've gotten very little pushback on this time around because they understand. I just want to be clear about something. We, as a board, are still valuing and taking that feedback. And certainly over the 6 years that I've been on the board, 6.5 almost, I have heard my share of things that I really didn't want to hear. And I know that's what I get paid to do, to sit up here and was elected to do. And so that, I welcome it. What we're not allowing, and without going back into the full explanation from the couple workshops ago, what we have decided to not do is to allow over our airwaves things that we think would be inappropriate to air, which could be student names, staff names, racial slurs, things like that. We don't have to broadcast that. So the input is still here. When people push back about turning off the cameras, but they say it's about us hearing people's voices. I'm going to hear your voice because I'm sitting right here. And I was part of, when we made that decision, making sure that we did not adjourn the meeting so that we made sure that we were all here, that was the expectation that meeting would continue to go on. So I value that public opinion, but I stand strongly on our decision to cut the cameras off because of the limitations that we now have with the lawsuit and with the 11th Circuit decision. So I think this is the right thing for us to do. And, you know, we've revised this policy so many times since I've been on the board. If something happens and we feel like we need to go back and redo it again, we certainly have that ability. So for that, I continue my support, Mr. Chair.
Great. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to say that was very eloquent. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I support it, but I think that it was very well said, Ms. Campbell.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I would say the exact same thing, that, you know, if you hear anything out there, please don't let someone say that we're not allowing public comment.
Right.
It's here. It's just not broadcast, and we value that opinion of the people. They can still come. I look at it as now they can speak twice and double the amount of time, so we're not limiting that whatsoever. But because of some of the 11th Circuit decision on what we can and cannot stop someone from saying, I think it's just protection for our citizens to have it this way. So it's unfortunate, but I think it's overall, we've had support this time around. So, but thank you for your concern on that. All right.
So I didn't. I wanted to say, as I normally do, I concur with Ms. Campbell. And I think Ms. Campbell, shh, come on. We're going with this, okay? I think you did it. And Mr. Thomas,
Suck it up, Mike.
I just wanted to say thank you for eloquently laying that out, and I look forward to passing this because I agree. And thank you, Mr. Thomas, for giving her the credit that she deserves. That's it.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
All right, next policy, G49, policy 2421. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
All right. Next policy, G50, policy 3120. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G51, policy 3120-4. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G52, policy 3430. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No, absolutely. Go.
I just wanted to say got some calls on this, two different areas. If you guys remember, this was some of the stuff that occurred in here we moved forward with years ago, where we just, you may not have been on the board yet, but my wife was on leave, and she was just called and said, you know what, we no longer want you to be a part of the school district. And there was an ongoing thing that we had allowed teachers to be on leave. Now that causes some issues and everything else. But I did want to say, in that regard, this looks good because it allows the superintendent to approve and to continue approval in the event that there's somebody that they want to allow to be on leave from various reasons and stuff like that. And I also, just for a point of clarification, we got some calls also about the bargaining units being part of this, and it clearly says that the employees in a bargaining unit should refer to negotiated agreements. We've set that over the years as far as an agreement between us and them over their involvement to be on leave without having to come back and get it every year and everything else. So I just wanted to kind of, if you guys hadn't gotten those calls, it's inside of the end of the agreement and everything else. Right, Paul?
The union part?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in the bargaining agreement. So.
Yeah, and it's, I just didn't want anybody to feel like there was anything in there. So this is a good policy. We're good to go.
Okay. No more discussion. Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G53, policy 5112. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G54, Policy 5121. Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G55, Policy 5225. Anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G56, Policy 5500. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G57, Policy 5630. Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present that wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G58, Policy 5771. Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent? Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G59, Policy 7217. Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
G60, Policy 9271. Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Is there anyone present who wishes to address this item? Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
I think we did every policy different, Paul, just to make it more
Yep.
complicated for you.
I tried.
All right.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yes.
He's doing good tonight. I mean, I got to hand Paul congratulations tonight. You're doing a great job. On your
Dr. Rendell,
toes.
will you please let us know about the items under the action portion of tonight's agenda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first action item is H61, refunding of the district's 2015C certificates of participation and release and/or substitution of the Central Area Adult Education Alternative Education Facility.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please, for the vote.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
I will now call a recess of the regular board meeting to convene the Leasing Corporation meeting. The Leasing Corporation is now called to order. Dr. Rendell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight's agenda item is the refunding of the district's 2015 certificates of participation and release and/or substitution of Central Area Adult Alternative Education Facility. The recommendation is to approve the delegation of the Chief Financial Officer to move forward with the current refunding of Series 2015C certificates at the optimum time that allows the district to achieve at least a 3% net present value savings, and the release and/or substitution of the Central Area Adult Education Adult/Alternative Education Facility. Approve the attached resolutions and other legal documents, and approve members of the financing team to include the financial advisor, special counsel, and disclosure counsel, and the underwriting team as delineated above.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
The Leasing Corporation meeting is now adjourned. Now we will reconvene our regular school board meeting. Thank you, Jim.
Can I take a second?
Yes, you can.
Mr. Trent. Mr. Ford and Associates and all the individuals from there, I just want to say thank you. You guys have been good stewards of our finances for a long time. I've had the honor to work with you guys, and I want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity to reduce our debt and everything else. So thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, all right. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Mr. Susan. That's very good.
Yeah, I just want to say
All right,
thanks.
Dr. Rendell, the next action item is?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next action item is H62, Department and School Initiated Agreements.
Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just briefly, this is a benefit that staff brought to our employees a couple years ago, and it has been very beneficial. It's a free service to our employees, allowing them to get top-notch care at no cost to them, which is, cheaper than even going through the regular insurance plan. So thank you, team, for keeping this going. HR, finance, all of everybody who had a hand in this. I think this is something that continues to be a great thing for all of our staff.
All right, any other discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
Dr. Rendell,
The next action item is H63, procurement solicitations.
do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Wright?
Aye.
Dr. Rendell,
The last action item is H64, closing the alternative learning centers beginning with the 25-26 school year.
do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Paul, roll call, please.
Mr.
Wait, can
Thomas?
I just real fast? I'm like, hold on, let's, before we, I don't want to just like hop over it real fast because I want to have a discussion about this. There's been a lot of misconception in the community about this, the concern of what's going to happen. And I've spent some time last week and some this week. I'll continue on the rest this week. But a board just taking the time to talk to the principals and really having one-on-ones, because really in our secondary world, there's a lot of fear and concern of what does this look like. So I would encourage you, those conversations have been extremely beneficial. And, what I have heard from every single one of the principals I've talked to is that things are better now. So they're like, I will say this, like, there's been some changes that you guys have made that I was like, oh, not sure how that's going to work, but it's actually panned out to be better. So, I've asked our principals in the north end, just hang on with us through this one. I know there's an unknown factor here, but ultimately the goal here really is to get that student code of conduct, which we've been working on today, and I'm sure we will be working on more, back in line, and to make sure that the principals have the autonomy to run their school, make sure everything in there is smooth. It's not, for the kids that are disrupting the campus to come back and continue to disrupt the campus. That's not what's going to happen here. So just encourage your principals as much as possible. I know there's an unknown factor of how this is going to work, but I truly believe it will, in the long run, be better for our students and better for our staff overall, so.
Right. I did want to address something too. Sure. Oh, sorry. You jumped first. I did want to address the public comment. There was a question about resources being available to serve students, and Mr. Bryan's not here anymore, but
No.
I'm sure he'll go back and watch. So if we know, the board has been presented with the numbers of students that are at the ALCs now, and so if you divide that over the schools that they'll be going back to, it's my understanding from what was presented to us at our last workshop a couple weeks ago, Dr. Rendell, that those schools that have, or maybe you and I had a conversation with somebody about it, the schools that have a high percentage of students that are coming back, we're going to provide that extra support for them, and also for the ones who are eligible, first of all, to come to do the diversion program. And we're not just going to leave schools hanging who need that extra support. And plus, we're also talking about generally at a time, one or two, a very small handful of students coming back in. And then also that it's not all of those. I mean, as we were working through our, Ms. Wright said, as we're working through our student code of conduct, not all of those students will be eligible to come back in to participate in the diversion program. Some of them will be doing the new, I forgot what it was called, but Success Online path.
Platform, yep.
Ultimately, I believe, as we were having these conversations a couple weeks ago, I believe this will allow more students the opportunity, if they're serious about making it right, the opportunity to stay on target with their graduation path. It will help, it has a potential to help improve our grad rates, because when they go to the ALCs, they aren't able to take all the classes that they would have normally taken if they'd been in their school. They're just taking those core subjects. To keep kids on track to graduate on time, even the online version, and with the goal of having more students be able to cross that finish line, and fewer students being completely without services. So I think when I think about support, I think we have the opportunity to provide even more support now than we do. But with this vote, there are a lot of things that couldn't take place until we vote on this tonight. So even though it seems fast, this vote tonight enables us, for example, the transfer window opens the Monday after spring break. And so for those teachers at the ALCs who are trying to figure out, am I going to be one of the four, and if I'm not, where do I want to go? For them to be the first in line, because it's a kind of a forced transfer situation, we have to take this action so that then the staff can start officially putting all these dominoes, the dominoes start falling to get it all ready for 25, 26. So even though it seemed fast, we've been talking about it for a while. I know some of the board members have been asking for us to do something with ALCs for a really long time. So I think this is going to be a good idea, and we've got some more, again, more pieces to put in place, but this is the first step. That's it. Mr. Thomas, did you have something?
Mr. Thomas?
No, ma'am.
I would like to say something.
That's
Once again, I would say you did an amazing job, and I concur with everything that you said. I think you eloquently laid it out.
Points, Mr. Susan.
And I just wanted to say thank you. You did such a great job today. I'm not kissing up. I'm trying to tell
Are
a
you guys
former
spending
board
holidays
member how
together
great
now, or?
it is. I just wanted to say thank you. That's it. And I appreciate that time. And yes, I agree with everything both of you have said. So thank you.
I would like to just add on that, Ms. Wright, what you were talking about when you were talking to your principals out there. It's very important to have those conversations. And this is a chance for this board and this district to put our money where our mouth is. If we say to serve every student with excellence as a standard, that means every student, and students that even run into some troubles. And the more we can keep that student connected to their campus, to their teachers, to their community, it's a better chance for that student to walk across that stage and get their diploma and get their graduation taken care of. And that's our goal here, is for not to see how quickly we can get certain students out of our schools, but how to keep certain students in our schools so we can be that example to those students. And I believe this is the first step in doing that. So I'm very proud that we're making this move. This is where we can actually help those students more. We can help those families more. And I just couldn't be more prouder of this board to make that bold step, Dr. Rendell, and the staff. The staff had every right to say, not so fast, and maybe not this year, and maybe not next year, and we need more data, and kick the can down the road. But the staff said, absolutely, we'll look into it. And that's how it started. And it might have been a few years on my radar, but bringing it to the board and to board members that maybe have never stepped inside of an ALC before they got on this board or had the luxury to teach in an ALC, it's a proud moment that we're going to be able to capture more of those students. And again, Mr. Bryan had left there about, his concern was about more of a dropout rate. It's going to have the absolute opposite effect, and we're going to grab those students and keep them as part of BPS longer because of the decisions we've made. So that's all. Dr. Rendell, do you have something?
I just wanted to follow up on Mrs. Campbell's eloquent discussion, but to address Mr. Bryan's concern, I think those students will receive more support and services at their home school than they would at the Alternative Learning Center. They would receive support at the Alternative Learning Center, but at many of those schools, there are so many levels of support in place, and they will have all that level of support, as well as, again, like Mrs. Campbell mentioned, access to all of their 7 standard courses and staying on track and that kind of thing. And that is the ultimate goal, is to keep them on pace academically.
And I think there's something to be said about that you were a former employee of those Alternative Learning Centers. So it's not that this is just an idea. This is something that you lived, and that's a big deal. So.
All right. Paul, roll call, please.
Mr. Thomas?
Aye.
Ms. Campbell?
Aye.
Mr. Trent?
Aye.
Mr. Susan?
Aye.
Ms. Ryan?
Aye.
All right. Great job, board. We'll now move on to the information agenda, which includes 2 items for the board review and may be brought back for action at a subsequent meeting. No action will be taken on these items tonight. Does any board member wish to discuss this item? All right. At this time, I would offer my fellow board members and Dr. Rendell an opportunity to recognize students, staff, or members of the community.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I would first and foremost like to congratulate Palm Bay High School girls basketball team for winning the state championship. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Coach Murray's 2nd year being the head coach, and he's a Florida Tech alum, so our paths crossed slightly when he was at Florida Tech and I was there at the same time. But congratulations to them. and beating American Heritage is no small feat. That's a great school. So I'd also I will save most of the comments for Mr. Susan, but for this next subject, but I would like to just give him kudos, and Mr. Raymer and Mr. Robinson for the elementary flag football. I went by Jupiter and Medellin Intermediate on Saturday, and I was amazed at how many kids and parents were out there. And it just shows that there's a huge need, a huge interest. So congratulations. I know that idea brewed before I ever got here, but very great idea. And great job implementing it for getting that many kids all moving in the same direction. Last, I'd like to make you guys aware, I was asked by the Space Coast Association of Realtors to make you all aware of that they're hosting the Project Prom 2025. And that's on Saturday, March 15th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at their location on Pineda Plaza in Palm Shores. And what that is basically they're giving gently used formal attire and accessories free of charge to students. Students don't have to qualify. Any student can receive it, but it's a way to get some gently used prom attire for prom.
That's
So,
this Saturday.
yep,
Saturday,
Saturday, March 15th, yep,
Yeah.
10 to 2.
Thank you.
So that's it.
All right. Ms. Kim?
Yes, I had the opportunity to be one of the judges for Destination Moon, which replaced Destination Mars that we used to have. And I just wanted to thank our big title sponsor for that event, Boeing, and all of the many volunteer judges from the community, but also the people who work in this building who stop what they're doing multiple days during this month to come and spend 4 hours listening to some really fantastic presentations. Our elementary school teams did a fantastic job, and I had a lot of fun for the 2 days. It's ongoing. They're not done yet, but just a great job, team, and Amanda for coordinating it, and ET and all the work that they did. It was really well done. 2 of the Fridays in February, I was able to participate in the African American read-ins at Columbia Elementary and Suntree Elementary, and such a great event because so many people from the community come in, and it is fantastic, and we read books either by an African American author or about an African American character in history or fiction, whatever it may be. But they also get to introduce themselves. What do you do for a living? How'd you get there? And the kids ask the most interesting questions. So I got to do fourth grade one day, but my first week I was in there with the pre-K kids, and it was very fun and very interesting. So thank you to Nicole Parks and also Kathy Hamilton Brown, who are the assistant principals. I know Saturn also did this event, and Ms. Parks from Columbia told me that next year she's got like 12, and Mr. Thomas was at the Columbia event. She's got like 12 more elementary schools. I said, just don't put them all on the same day, because I'd love to participate as many as possible. But they did a fantastic job organizing those. Those are the assistant principals at Columbia and at Suntree. The Leadership Training Roundtable happened last week. It's something that our professional development staff does to train future teacher leaders. So it's people who are teachers right now from across the district and all different levels and types of schools. And maybe they're thinking about becoming administrator one day. This is kind of the first step. Or maybe they're thinking about just stepping up to leadership, in their own school in different capacities. And so it used to be the Teacher Leader Academy, and so they're doing something different. And Linda Buffum has had me teach kind of how the board policy process works for the last several years. So since they changed the format, I got to do this roundtable discussion with them last week. But mainly I wanted to highlight, I just wanted to recognize Linda Buffum and Lisa Hyam. They did a fantastic job. The feedback, they sent us the feedback that the teachers had written anonymously about the session, and they absolutely loved it. And that's just one of a few days that the training is going to go. And but I want to especially recognize Linda Buffum because she's retiring at the end of this school year, and I just appreciate her so much, her positive attitude. You can't see her in the building without huge smiles, and she does a great job. Even just the few minutes that I got to sit in there and listen to some of the things that she was teaching, the way she makes them reflect, a lot of the success of that kind of program had to do with her leadership, and we will miss her dearly, even though she told me last week that she's coming back as soon as her 6 months FRS will allow her to. So we'll be happy to have her back doing something. And, not done yet, sorry. As far as reports go, just wanted to make you aware, if you I don't know, Ms. Wright, if you got this, but for all of us who are FSBA members, they're sending legislative updates. Sent the first legislative update on Monday. I'm happy to forward that to you with a tracker. Wanted to highlight a couple of things that are moving across the finish line. I didn't see any too much that directly relate to our platform. I will be up in Tallahassee next week. But I did want to highlight a couple of things. One is Senate Bill 1150 by Senator, Kaladiud, who is I think she's the Education Committee Chair, specifically talking about school social workers. And one of the things that we've talked about, not making school social workers have to pass teacher certification. She's got that down as one of the things that she would like to move forward, and so they're just getting started because session officially just started last Tuesday. Also, there's a couple other things. There's a couple of people that have been talking about attendance. We know they talked about it last year. They'll be talking about it this year, mainly to have a uniform definition, which there is not currently, of what attendance is in the state of Florida. Every district counts it differently. Every schools in some districts can count it differently. And what is chronic absenteeism and all those? So try to put a singular definition so that they can start supporting us and making legislation that makes sense. But we have to start with a similar definition, because if you ask every district, what's your chronic absenteeism rate, it's going to look a little bit different. Senator Simon is also putting forward his administrative efficiency bill, which is basically deregulation, but they're not calling it that anymore. Looking at some other things, I think we're probably going to see some improvements in teacher certification issues. You know, we asked for them to allow right now, and I don't really understand exactly how this works, but when your certification is tied to your district. So if we pull in people from other districts, there's some extra hoops they have to jump through. There's some work on VPK and asking the state to support additional funding for full-day VPK. And I'm not sure if that'll get across the finish line, but that is definitely part of that. Thankfully, we don't have to deal with the school start times. That's such a headache for a lot of school districts right now. We've been doing that for a long time, so we don't have to make that adjustment. But I'm certainly support our other districts who are struggling to try to make that happen with that being rescinded or adjusted. You can look at the rest. Ms. Wright, I'll send you that if you didn't get a copy. It came out on Monday. And then finally, last weekend, I had my Board of Directors meeting for the Florida School Music Association. I represent, not Brevard, I represent FSBA. This is the organization that governs, it's kind of like FHSAA board for music. They govern the MPA performances and the solo and ensemble performances, make up the rules. And so there's 2 school board members from across the state, a north and a south on that. But one of the things that they, all the music education associations advocated for last year was the Seal of Fine Arts. So starting this year, students can earn a seal that will go on their diploma, and there are some pretty significant things they have to do to earn that Seal of Fine Arts. They have to participate in a top group. They have to go to the MPAs. There's a list. They can even do like volunteer hours in a music-based or arts-based, not just music, it's an arts thing. But it's not just like be in art for 4 years. You actually have to go with some competitions. There's some rigor to it. And so the goal was not just for districts to have to track a whole bunch of data, but the goal is ultimately, if a student does that, they put that kind of time and effort into earning the seal, that it could potentially be an opportunity for that student to earn, what's the word I'm looking for?
Acceleration.
Acceleration points, which helps school grades. So now, for those of you who don't know, if you get acceleration point by taking AP classes, IB classes, things like that, CTE courses, any dual enrollment, any kind of thing that's an advanced program. A lot of our students who would be earning the Seal of Fine Arts might get it another way, and you can only earn 1 acceleration point. So it's not a matter of getting students to have extra points. But there are, for the small handful of students who aren't going to get an acceleration point another way, but they are just really excelling in the arts, and they do all the things in that way. For them to have that opportunity, they were thinking that was going to be a far off goal, but we're able to start having those conversations with legislators this year. Not that they think it's going to happen this year, but sooner rather than later. I say all that to say, it is worth it for us as a district to start tracking that opportunity for students to earn that seal of fine arts because, one, we want to recognize the work that the students have done. And like I said, it's not just we're in band for 4 years, okay, you get it. You have to put significant work and time behind it. But if it's the potential for some more students to earn, a handful of students across the district to earn another acceleration point, it's worth it. So some districts are putting that out on their website. Like I said, this will be the first year. Dr. Rendell told me he already talked to a student from Cocoa Beach who was like super excited about getting that seal. But we want to make sure that we're recognizing those students across the district who do that work. They have to do an application. But if this moves in the next couple of years into an acceleration point situation that will help our school grade, help our district grade, we want to be all behind it. And so I just wanted to give that information to you, and I shared it with Dr. Rendell in our one-on-one the other day just to see what are we doing to track it, because one of the things that the legislators are going to want to know is how many students are we talking about? So if we're not already tracking it in different districts across the state, that'll be a hard number to give them. So I imagine starting next year, they're probably going to be asking us that. How many students didn't earn an acceleration point another way, but they would have earned it this way. So, and that was all I have. Thank you.
That's right.
All right, I will go too. So I had the opportunity as well to judge the Destination Moon, and I have to tell you, I'm always so blown away because these are elementary students, and so when they come in and they're doing coding on the spot, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so blown away by this. And then some of them will get stuck. I cannot help them at all. So I'm like, you're watching them, but just watching them problem solve and really the resiliency there and like getting back up and doing it. So shout out to University Park. University Park clean house on the awards when I was there, the day that I was there. So their coach did an exceptional job getting those students ready because they really, they won, I think, almost every single category. They got first place in. It was unbelievable.
What district are they in?
Okay. It's not,
I
I was going to say it's not a competition, but it is.
Lockmar did the same thing the week before, but it was the same coach.
Okay. Oh, was it? Okay. So the coach. So shout out to that coach being exceptional on getting those students ready. So, that was a fun event. I love it. If you get the chance to judge, you should judge. You're missing out if you don't do it. Also, want to give a shout out to Miss Coachman at THS. She had a Best Buddies event, which she's done a couple years in a row now. And it's kind of like a big old party that happens out in the courtyard. She brings in basically anybody that will come on out, and then we play sports. They have food, different things that are happening. Titusville PD is out there, the fire department's out there, city council, mayor, everybody that comes. The district came, Mr. Poole came over from Vieira, came down there. So it was just a good event all the way around, of including kids that have different disabilities that maybe sometimes don't necessarily get to always be participating in a traditional kind of setting there. So also want to give a shout out to Eastern Florida. I had the opportunity, I've gone now 2 years in a row, to Mr. Humphrey's political science class and spoke to his students, which is always so much fun. I absolutely love going there and hearing what college students think. He's an Eastern Florida teacher. Sorry, I went to Cocoa. But I'm always, the questions that you get asked are what they think about the role that you're in. I will tell you, it's interesting. I think it also probably warrants the fact that we need to do a better job at teaching at a younger age what local government does, right? And I hate to say that, but that's the God's honest truth. So, because a lot of times it's like, what do you think they make? I laugh when I ask that question. What do you think a school board member makes or a city council member makes? And it's always so unbelievably off. It's not even funny. So, good questions there and good talking about governance and what our role is, because the public doesn't sometimes. There's a misconception there. Board, I mentioned this to Dr. Rendell, and I'm gonna mention it to you because I'm gonna need some support on something that's a little outside of the box. So I have a elementary school in the north end. It is the most northern end elementary school that we have. Currently runs a VPK program, has 2 classes. They are at capacity every single year. They are on a wait list every single year for VPK. They are losing Title I funding this year, which is what funds their VPK. There are no VPK options for families that run that north end up there. All the way to Volusia, down into Titusville. There's no VPK options that really exist in this market. We changed the way that we qualified our Title I schools several years back. I don't know if you'll remember. We used to hound parents. We'd call them, email them, text them, send people to knock on their door, fill out this form, we need it back from you. And I agree with the method in which we're collecting that data now. So now we've taken the approach of, if these families are actually receiving government assistance, such as Medicaid, food stamps, things like that, then they're going to be part of the families that qualify. Well, the particular community in the north end It's just a different community. They will go work, they will go do different things. They don't necessarily always go for the government assistance, if that makes sense. Whether that be a lack of, don't trust your government, could be that, or it could be I'm gonna go and work and figure out how to put groceries on my table. So with that being said, they're on the chopping block to lose their 2 VPK classes, and that's going to devastate that school in a huge way. And so, Dr. Rendell, I spoke to him about this. I know we're working through a solution. There may come a time when I need some support there on making sure that this stays a program that exists in the North End, because it will hurt that community, and that'll move down, unfortunately, into a lot of the other schools. So just want to make you aware of it, put it on your radar. It may come back as something that's outside of the box of what we normally do. But I know we've been very vocal about trying to expand VPK. And so this one is like, man, we can't lose 2 VPK units in a school that are at capacity with a wait list. They could actually take on probably 3 or 4 VPK units if we were able to fund it, because there's such a need in the North End. So just making you aware of that, because it's a little different outside of the box. And it may come back before us at some point. So that's all that I have.
That would be a good thing to communicate to our legislators who are taking a look at funding VPK full day, because if we had, the reason why, just for the public to understand, the reason why is because Title I schools use their Title I funding to pay for the rest of the day. And so if we were funded for full day VPK, then that would take care of that problem.
All right.
I do know that area that you're talking about in the North End. I've heard individuals that work up there who, Ms. Harris used to work up there as a principal, and she knows that area very well. And I mean, geographically, I think that it's our responsibility to make sure that we're providing certain services for our students, especially because those students in that specific area, if they're not given that VPK, they may end up in they may need those extra couple of years to transition into that classroom. So I agree with you. Let's take a look at it. What I would say is if we can tail end that before that comes back, if we can also do an analysis, Dr. Rendell, of the before and after. This was an idea that we would move to this new way of pulling in our revenue based upon anybody who was filling out for government assistance. We have numbers from per student before, now we have numbers for this one that are consistent for a couple of years. Let's look and see which one's bringing in more revenue as far as a target, because we might find that we're not making as much by not having them fill out the forms if that's the option we want to go to. You know what I mean? That's all. If we can get something like that before we make those decisions, and then I'm good. I just wanted to say that on the tail end, so I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. That's all they had. That was my last, I might need your help. Please help if it comes up here.
All right.
Thank you.
So I just got a couple, is that okay? I saw you going to your mic.
No,
So it went to the Cattlemen's Association meeting that went really well. They are over the moon excited about all the agricultural things that we're doing. They're excited over how we've taken that. I mean, we had the Farm Bureau, we had all those guys there, and they're like, no other district is doing what you guys are doing. No other district. And I was sitting there and I was like, that's because we're Brevard, we're the best at everything, but you guys are just finding that out. So I just wanted to tell you guys, great job on the agricultural stuff that we're doing. Astronauts getting some huge support through them.
Mims Elementary is hatching chickens in their school. It is the coolest thing you've ever seen. They have incubators, and I mean, this is like a whole thing up there, so.
Oh, I got so many of those chicken stories. My daughter did some stuff. So anyways, with that, one of the initiatives that we have that Health First was able to start a little bit of the sponsoring, but we're going to be putting in an outdoor classroom at Ralph Williams that's a farm to table. And what that is 10 raised beds that go to 4 different seasons for where the kids grow something and then they bring it in and they actually eat it. So it's a really interesting thing. We're going to try to get it in before sometime in April, and then be able to have a Cinco de Mayo chips with salsa because you have the peppers and the tomatoes.
Yeah.
But that outdoor classroom is a long table where families, communities, church groups can come and they can have meetings outdoors, and it's a beautiful little area. So it's something to be coming. I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Schroeder for doing that. I also wanted to say our girl Brooke, the most persistent woman that we have out in the world for water safety. I don't know if you guys
she's been here.
worked with her. She has now gotten 10,000 people in, so she is incredible. Like I've seen some of the emails I'm on. I've never seen somebody drive a program like that before. And she's now moving to now that she's gone through and she's educated all of our kids in the first phase, she's now actually doing how to swim. So she's at Sherwood and she's doing that. So it's incredible, Sherwood Pool. She's taking the kids from Sherwood, walking them down there, and she's going to teach them to swim, and that's phenomenal. So I just want to say a big shout out to Brooke and the water safety. Did want to let you guys know the ECAC, that group of generals and everybody that is incredible. It's again Miss Yvette Cruz pretty much running it. But we have the opportunity, if you guys can save your, Dr. Rendell are working through some items, but May 15th at Vieira High School, it looks like we're going to have the first graduation members who are serving in the military to have a big graduation. And they're bringing over military generals from Tampa, Miami. I mean, it's going to be a big deal. So it's all the kids, homeschool, private school, and school board that are graduating will be graduating that night, or not graduating, but they will be doing it's called like they do it at Daytona Speedway, where they raise their hand and they actually swear in right there. And it's going to be a big deal.
Can
So
you
that-
send us an invite, a calendar invite?
Yeah,
for that?
so Dr. Rendell has to check. I just said tentatively. We're going to get a date somewhere in there. It has to
Okay.
be from like the 13th to.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, okay.
13th to like the 16th, because of the way that they get all of the numbers on the 12th, and they have to get before our graduation, so it's going to be in there.
Okay.
But Dr. Rendell's looking at how it conflicts with other schedules.
Okay.
But I would put it down on the 15th right now, because that's where we're kind of trying to make it work. It's huge. It'll be massive. I don't think it's done anywhere else in the state. I'm also on April 2nd, we have something called the Brevard Athletic Association that we're officially going to pull together. What it is just, it's not an official association, it's not official anything. All we're doing is we're forming to be able to work out an agreement between all the cities and county and school board over what facilities for sports that we have currently, and how can we improve, collaborate, and increase that to increase the participation of sports in general for both our colleges and everybody else. It's great. It meets on April 2nd. We have a member from each city, Parks and Rec, elected official, and then many of our rec leagues and stuff like that. And on the 2nd, we're just going to lay out, hey, here's the vision. Now everybody's going to go back and figure out how many facilities they have of each sport, which ones need to be repaired and fixed, and then we're going to be able to start hosting, like Palm Bay and Melbourne, they'll be able to start hosting huge flag football tournaments for like NFL flag and stuff like that. Some stuff that we've never been able to do before. And it's at the TDC office. It's going to be incredible. The Central Florida School Boards Association, I've been on 2 of their meetings now. I want to tell you guys that if you don't have an opportunity, we all get the links, I think. It would help if you guys were. The stuff that they're bringing up now, it's not what we had before. When I was on the Central Florida School Board Association years ago, I couldn't care to be on it. I'll be honest with you. The things they were bringing up were just, it was meeting after meeting of them just good. But there's a lady named Allison Campbell out of Marion County. She's chairing it, and she's doing a phenomenal job. So some of the things that she's brought up, the last thing that they did was they brought up transportation. And they had like Volusia County, Marion County, and a couple of the other counties' transportation directors on. And they brought up a bunch of different ideas. And they said, how are you incentivizing people in your transportation center? And a couple of the great ideas, one of them that they mentioned was that they have a bonus. So if the bus drivers are present for an entire 9 weeks, they get a bonus. An entire year, they get a bonus, which is really cool because that's what we want, right? But there was just some innovative stuff. So I'll make sure that you guys are on the link to invite, but it's cool to listen to it because she's actually running it and doing a good job. So just wanted to say that. Yes, the elementary school sports, holy cow, like I didn't even think that it could be as big as it was. I don't know how many people you had at your location. It was pretty good turnout.
Packed, both of them.
I was floored. I went to that Longleaf. There was probably about 250 to 300 parents, and then I went to Vieira, and it was like 500. It was crazy. It was out of control. And the kids at Longleaf were maybe one team per school. When we got over there to Vieira, each school had at least 2 teams that were like younger and older teams and stuff like that. Ralph Williams' coach didn't show up, got sick, so I was forced to get back into my coaching mode.
Oh.
I know you're really sad about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was horrible.
Ms. Campbell, I know you might think that that's something that I like to do, but elementary school students scare me. I'm just not going to lie to you because I have
have a whole house full of them.
Yeah, I know, but I can yell at them. I can't yell at these kids, and so I get in there and I was coaching, and the first 2 games we lost by a touchdown each, and then there's
You
this.
just happen to have your whistle with you.
Yeah, and my cleats on. Yeah. But there was this one girl named Kimberly, and she was an animal. And by the third game, she was starting to run things, and the quarterback and everybody, so they won out the rest of the game. They started doing well, but I just, the energy, I walked off, and this is two things that happened, and I wanted to make sure we understood this. There was a family that was sitting there, and they were all there, and I walked off, and they said, hey, whoever's done this did an amazing job, because we can't afford, nor can we have the time to take our kid to play sports, and they've been able to play a sport. And then I can't tell you how many other families that were there that were on the outside that had kids that were like, I didn't know you guys are doing sports inside the schools. I didn't know that. So they were talking about taking their kid from, there was parents that were in charter schools that were talking about bringing their kids to our schools because now we have elementary school sports. And then they also were talking about, some of the homeschool families were like, wow, can we do this? And I said, yeah, but I think you got to be part of the school for this one. So it's really cool what that did. Really good stuff. Thank you, Dr. Rendell and Mr. Raymer for initiating that. You guys did an amazing job with it. I did want to let you guys know that we talked before, and I wanted to make sure it was okay before we do this again, but we talked before about the logos that each one of our high schools have should be trademarked. So I talked to we brought this up before. Mr. Gibbs said there was an attorney that was going to reach out to me. He was on vacation, so I finally got a hold of him. He works in this area. He agreed today to move forward with it, as long as you guys are okay with it. I'd like to have him just work with Gibbs on crafting some stuff for us to do and move forward, so we can do it. It pisses me off.
What
so
was the
bad.
cost? Is there a cost for him to look at this and
Nope.
trademark each
No,
one
he's
of
doing
them?
it for free. He's doing it. He's just going to help us understand what the laws are, and then
Okay.
let Gibbs get where he needs to go. So if he needs to go back out and get somebody, he can, but it's kind of a formal informational session that we can do.
I see. Okay.
Basically, by law, because it's known that it is our trademarks, and they are knowingly putting our names on it, we have rights right now to slam it down, okay? But we want to move to a more official position. I think it's actually wrong that there's actual companies that are out there that go and produce our shirts and then go to Walgreens, go to Target and say, hey, we can sell these shirts for you. There's a third party making money off it. It's ridiculous. And if you watch, if you've been to any of our sports years ago, you actually had like a Booster Club trailer that was there that sold everything, and everybody went up there. And they stopped doing that at all the schools, most of them, because there's no way for them to make money, because they can go down to Walmart and get it. Well, if Walmart wants to do it at $5, then pay us a portion of that, and that can go to the school. You know what I mean? But we got to make sure it's okay.
Yeah, no, I think I loved the idea when you brought it up before, so I think it's something we should pursue.
Okay, next thing is that the state championship girls, awesome basketball team, want to go to nationals, but the FHSAA blocked them.
Why?
They blocked them. They said that they cannot do it outside of, because FHSAA has rules that say that as a team, and this is to protect our athletes, so that you know, cannot form a team and then start playing. So like when I was coaching, and John, I'm sure you understand this too, you can't just grab your, Cocoa Beach golf team and go start playing Volusia County golf team in the middle of the year that's outside of season, because coaches will drive that into the ground. But what happened is we, and I haven't gotten into it, but we applied for them. They said no, because it's the national championship is actually not a FHSAA sanctioned event, because it's outside the state of Florida. But these girls, they deserve to go play the darn national championship. So what I'd like you guys to do is for us to get involved. Paul, were you in on those negotiations originally with FHSAA? I would love our attorney to send them some sort of we're going to go do this, and you know what I mean, kind of thing. I would love to get direction to give Paul to be able to send a letter to try to get our girls to be able to play. I don't know where that is. The board of directors for the FHSAA, I know half of them. They said that they already petitioned them. I have a feeling that if I reached out to them, I could get it across. But there are standing laws against this, and this is wrong. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Do other states play it? Other high schools from other states obviously play
Yeah,
in it?
yeah.
So does Florida never sends a team to this?
No.
That's crazy.
It is, and it's in New Jersey, and it's a national championship. We very rarely will we ever have a team that we know probably could win the national tournament, and and not only that, but the exposure for our athletes at that level for scholarships. That's what gets me. I was just like, screw this, like the FHSAA.
My question to Mr. Gibbs would be, if we're not playing an FHSAA
Sanctioned
event,
event,
then
right.
our team should be able to play wherever they want.
Right.
There it is. So, and it's, Is Palm Bay High your school?
Yes.
Okay, so I
We
think,
just won a state championship.
Yeah, he's trying to get you a national.
so I think it might be good. You might want to take the lead on it, Mr. Thomas. You know this very well. Well, I'll be honest with you. The FHSAA does a lot of things that border, like, there's a lot of upset things. We had a team go down to Rockledge, took their track team down to Miami. We won the event, and then in their stadium, they allowed parents on the field, attacked our students and knocked one of them out. And that person was never held accountable, never arrested, nor was the school ever held accountable or anything. And the FHSAA then had the event there the next year. The other thing is that we had a baseball team go down there. There's been instances where FHSAA has been completely wrong, and I think they're wrong on this one. So,
Can we ask Mr. or Dr. Rendell, as far as whether it be Mr. Robinson or whether that's an attorney issue or whether it would just be a athletic director issue that he could address?
he already had petitioned it, and they said no.
Oh, he already did?
Yeah, that's why I said we got to get to the attorney.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Mr. Robinson about it, but I can check with him tomorrow.
We can turn that timer off, though.
Did you turn the timer on
He's
for
turned
him?
my timer on me. All right.
So just to follow up on that, Mr. Gibbs, would you mind checking into that then, as far as?
Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know much about it, but I'll see what I can find out.
It's basketball.
Right, I know what sport we're talking about, but I don't know anything about the FHSAA blocking participation in nationals.
So if it's
Is there any standard
okay,
for them to stop blocking
Right.
anybody from doing something outside their?
Right.
yeah, I think if it's okay, I think we should do this, so.
I
That's it.
concur. That's all I got.
That is
That's
good.
it?
That's it. I mean, I got 3 more on there.
Now, anybody else has anything further to report on? Dr. Rendell?
Yes, I do actually have a couple things. So the first thing I want to share is we actually had a state competition going on last week in another sport as well. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be in Lakeland for the girls' basketball state championship game and see them win that game.
Wrestling.
That was great. But earlier that day, I was in Kissimmee at the Silver Spur Arena for the opening rounds of the state wrestling tournament. And we had quite a successful run. Our students, our student athletes from all of our high schools had quite a successful run. We had 25 individual medalists. That means you placed in the top 6 in the state to earn a medal. It's not just first, second, and third, but top 6. And so it's one thing to qualify for state. It's another thing to win a medal or medal at state. And then an even greater thing to win the state championship. So we had 3 individual state champions, Timmy Boda from Merritt Island, Emma Hoppy from Vieira, we do have girls wrestling, and Leonard Christian, the heavyweight from Palm Bay. So those 3 were individual champions. We had a slew of second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth medalists. So it's a 3-day tournament. Well, if you can survive to the third round, you have to win a little bit. But it's quite an feat. It's quite an accomplishment, quite a feat for these student athletes. And probably the people we don't thank enough are the coaches that put these programs together and get these kids ready for this level of competition. And it's quite a feat. If you've never seen a state wrestling tournament, I encourage you to check it out, especially the first day, because you've got, I think it's 16 mats going on at the same time, and it's crazy. It's really cool. And then the last thing I want to share is last Friday, we actually culminated our Coffee Bean experience. So for those of you that don't know, the Coffee Bean is a very short motivational book. It talks about overcoming adversity. And for 2 years now, we've had all of our 6th graders read the book. So every 6th grader gets a copy of the book. And then last year and this year, we had one of the co-authors of the book, John Gordon, come and speak about overcoming adversity and how you have the power within you to basically, overcome any challenge that you face. And there's a simple allegory of the coffee bean, but I'll make you read the book to find that out or Google it. But we have about, 5,000 6th graders, and there is no facility in Brevard big enough to house 5,000 people. So what we've done the last couple of years is take half of them to a facility, and they hear John address them in live and in person, and the other half of the students remain at their campuses, and we live stream the address back to them. So last year when we did it, we were at FIT at the Clemente Center. This year we were back at the King Center, and so half of our 6th graders were there live in person, and the other half were watching it on live stream. And really need to thank the teachers, administrators, and other staff at the schools who helped organize this experience, and then definitely the curriculum and instruction department who helped organize the experience. So you had people at the school organizing all the kids and getting everything ready, and then people at the King Center receiving them and getting them all seated and organizing all this. And of course, we had transportation that had to get the kids from A to B. We used yellow buses for them all, no charters, yellow buses for them all. And so transportation had this huge undertaking. And then food services usually had to adjust the lunch time for those students when they get back. So it's a huge team effort to have these kids not only learn the message in the Coffee Bean by reading the book, but then also seeing the author live. Is quite an event. And we're also repeating this type of event, the same scenario, with our ninth graders in a few weeks. All of our ninth graders received a book called No Barriers by Eric Weinmeier, and he's an inspirational person. So he's the author, so he's going to come and speak to some of our ninth graders live and in person, and we'll live stream it back to the others. So we did these events last year, and they were a great success. And the first one this year was last week. And I just want to thank all of the different staff members involved for pulling that off. It was a lot of people behind the scenes making stuff happen. And so I don't know if anybody really watches this portion of the board meeting, but at least it's on record that I thank them for all their efforts. And then we'll do it again in 3 weeks with the ninth graders. That's it.
Mr. Chair, can I
Yeah, absolutely.
add just something to that? First of all, congratulations to you, or thank you to you, because not everybody would see a value in bringing motivational speakers, especially at that age, to schools. And your vision, I think, is awesome. I went to it, and I can tell you, to see 2,500 sixth graders not only there, but they were super engaged. You could tell that they read the book. You could tell they were super excited about the speaker being there. It was amazing. I mean, I was truly impressed that they were that involved in the presentation. And just to compound or echo what Dr. Rendell said, from the moment I pulled into the parking lot, it was like being at Disney World. I mean, it was like flawless. And the kids were all lined up perfectly. The buses were all parked perfectly. I mean, it was a total team effort. Very impressive. I mean, it was crazy to have that many kids and have it be that flawless. It was amazing. So great job, Dr. Rendell.
Thanks.
Great. Yeah, those are things that we're going to see the benefits down the road.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. So we appreciate you for that vision. So, anybody have anything else? If there is no further business, the meeting is now adjourned.